They were the fastest in westerns. The channel for westerns and more.
Westerns have a special place in our hearts, especially when a gunfight is about to take place. Westerns have been around since motion pictures were invented. In fact, the world's first feature motion picture was a western made in Australia on Boxing Day 1906, The Story of the Kelly Gang. The Great Train Robbery 1903 was a short film, or a one-reeler, that preceded it. Westerns featured stories about adventures in the Wild West. Few were quite as thrilling as those depicting an exciting showdown on the main street, outside a saloon, or the sheriff getting the drop on an outlaw. It was the quick-draw heroes that captured audiences' hearts. Their skill with 6 guns was only outmatched by their code of honor. The truth is, these gunfights were not common in the real Wild West. It was Hollywood that invented the gunfights for cinematic effect. There are, of course, more than we can look at today. Let me know who your favourite gunfighter was. Please excuse my voice today, as I have a cold. Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone, 1993. For a man whose quick draw was only overshadowed by his persona, Doc Holliday was a gentleman gunfighter who favoured silk shirts, quippy one-liners, and fancy firearms. Holliday's handgun of choice was a .38 Colt Lightning double-action revolver, and he knew how to use it. Val Kilmer depicted Holliday in the final months of his life in Tombstone, the infamous gambler who had defied the odds by living with tuberculosis for 12 years. Not only did he gun down Johnny Ringo, one of the fastest draws in the West, he eventually died in bed, something few gunslingers could achieve. The line quoted by Doc at the end of the fight at the OK Corral was historically true, and was reported in the Tombstone papers reporting the fight. When confronted by one of the cowboys at point-blank range, the cowboy reportedly said, "I got you now, Doc, you son of a bitch," to which Doc gleefully retorted, "You're a daisy if you do."
You son of a bitch. You're a daisy if you do.
Robert Vaughn as Lee in The Magnificent Seven, 1960, as one of the greatest westerns ever, thanks in part to its charismatic ensemble cohorts of gunfighters. One stood out as a crack shot and, like Doc Holliday, a snappy dresser. Lee, a friend of Chris Adams, Lee had lost his edge, hiding out on the border, waiting for the man and the gun that could better him. He became one of the 7 men contracted by a small Mexican village to challenge the nefarious caballero named Calvera. Given the opportunity to redeem his reputation, it was his courage and marksmanship that helped gun down Calvera's gang in the final shootout, allowing captured villagers to go free. Jeff Bridges as Wild Bill Hickok in Wild Bill, 1995. It may have seemed to be a sad life to be Wild Bill Hickok, aside from his wife. For most of his adult life pursued by every young gun wanting to make a name for himself, the gunfighter still carved an impressive reputation for himself on the western frontier. In the film Wild Bill, legendary Jeff Bridges took on the role of the long-haired sharpshooter who worked as a lawman, spending his final days in Deadwood, North Dakota. Impressively accurate with his sidearm. Instead of running for cover during his shootouts, people eagerly lined up to watch him work. In the opening scenes alone, he lays out a dozen men, one for touching his hat.
The man is accusing me! Imagine that! Have you forgotten, Mr. Hickok, that I am the aggrieved party here? You, sir, will die!
Jamie Foxx as Django in Django Unchained, 2012. A slave separated from his wife, Django is now free after helping a German dentist, Christopher Waltz, bring down the infamous Brittle brothers. Django Unchained follows their adventures as they hunt down the most notorious criminals in the South, all the while tracking down the man who bought Django's wife. Waltz helped improve Django's quick draw and long-range shooting skills with a revolver and rifle, turning him into one of the most dangerous men in the West. They finally caught up with Calvin Candy, the man who purchased and tortured his wife. Django became a one-man army, laying waste to his plantation. Clint Eastwood as the Man with No Name in the Man with No Name trilogy. Clint Eastwood's most famous role, the Man with No Name, became the template for which many Western protagonists were based. A lone gunslinger sought revenge on the man who left him for dead. Eastwood played the part in A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, often taking on work as a gun for hire, usually outsmarting his clients before violence was even required. When pressed, he outdrew any and all opponents, coming to the forefront when, in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he outdrew Angel Eyes, Lee Van Cleef. Glenn Ford as George Temple in The Fastest Gun Alive, 1956. Whenever it becomes known how good he is with guns, ex-gunman George and his wife Dora have to leave town, in fear of gunmen who might want to challenge him. He again spills his secret while drunk. Everyone vows to keep his secret and support him, giving up his guns forever. Unfortunately, a young boy lets slip to a gang of criminals. The gang leader threatens to burn down the town if he doesn't face him and duel. Glenn Ford spent many hours training to draw a revolver, and even training with his own son in his garden. According to Glenn Ford's son, the result was excellent. Russell Crowe as Court in The Quick and the Dead, 1995. Redemption is a small town run by a former outlaw, John Herod, Gene Hackman, who announces a single elimination sharpshooting contest. The contestants vary from a mysterious woman known as the Lady, Sharon Stone, and a young gunslinger, the Kid, Leonardo DiCaprio, who both have a score to settle with Herod, but he has his sights on an unwilling participant named Court, Russell Crowe. Sharon Stone handpicked Russell Crowe to be in this film. The studio was initially unsure about this choice because Crowe was completely unknown to the American audience. Yul Brynner as Chris Adams in The Magnificent Seven, 1960, when ruthless outlaw Calvera, Ila Wallach, and his gang invade a small Mexican village. The terrified townspeople hire veteran sharpshooter Chris Adams, Yul Brynner, and 6 others to face the gang. Adams and his men agree to help, while they prepare the villagers how to defend themselves. They start planning a trap for Calvera and his men. Each of the Magnificent Seven has their unique skills. Adams has an impressive draw and quick wit. Aside from knowing his way with his gun, Adams is an honest outlaw and rare sharpshooter that focuses on preparing and protecting the villagers before the upcoming battle. Alan Ladd as Shane in Shane, 1953. Shane rides into a conflict between cattleman Riker and a bunch of settlers, like Joe Starrett and his family, whose land Riker wants. When Shane beats up Riker's man, Chris, Riker tries to buy him. Then Shane and Joe take on the whole Riker crew. Riker sends to Cheyenne for truly evil gunslinger, Wilson. Shane must clear out all the guns from the valley. When Shane shows Joey how to shoot, to enhance the dramatic effect of shooting, the sounds of the gunshots were manipulated by firing a gun into a garbage pail. The reverberations made the sound much louder. George Stevens' intention was to startle the audience with the first firing of a gun. The scene where Alan Ladd practices shooting in front of Brandon DeWilde took 119 takes to complete. Charles Bronson as Harmonica in Once Upon a Time in the West, 1968. When a railroad baron wants land in Flagstaff, he sends a gun for hire, Frank, Henry Fonda, to force the owner to sell his property. The owner doesn't want to sell. Refusing to take no for an answer, Frank murders him and blames a gang of bandits to cover his tracks. The only other obstacle in the way is the owner's recently new bride, who arrives in town at the same time as a lone gunman known as Harmonica, Charles Bronson. Bronson owned the role of Harmonica in Sergio Leone's spaghetti western. A man of few words, but says all he needs with his trigger hand and a small harmonica, which has an important role to the story that establishes the character as one of the best badass sharpshooters to ever grace the western genre.
The channel for westerns and more.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate your likes and subscribers. Hit the notification button to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel and check out my Facebook page. The links are in the description. I am Wrangler. Bye for now. See you again soon.